Folks, welcome back to the Sleepy Keys Tingle Network. Now, today on the program, we have a spectacular collection of cool clocks. Now, these are all very contemporary 90s, sort of modern timepieces that could be yours today for the low price of $79.99. So before we get into it, Barbara is actually off today. Now, Barbara and Nancy ended up going to see Amy Grant last night. And I think Barbara, maybe she had a little too much fun or just needed her beauty sleep. I don't know. Either way, Nancy, how was it? Right. Nance says she didn't play Baby Baby until the encore. So everybody was waiting. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, you know, I would have left after my personal favorite, Every Heartbeat. I think that's her best tune. But that's just me personally. But I understand that Baby Baby is the bigger hit. And then probably why she named the album Heart in Motion. Because she says heart in motion in that song. So that's the name of it, yeah. But it was fun. She sounded good. I'm so glad. I bet there was a lot of traffic too. Yeah. No, that's a big venue. Sure. Me, no. I don't always care for the crowds, you know. So, I think I'll skip the crowds for Amy Grant. But I did rent a couple of films from Blockbuster. Now, oh gosh, the first one, what was it called? I think it was called, oh gosh, what was it? Norm the Gnome, Gnorm the Gnome, okay? Or Upworld, I don't know, the title's unclear to me. But it looked so interesting because there's like a puppet fella, and it seemed like a family movie, so I thought it would be, you know, a fun watch. But basically, there's this gnome that comes up. Now, this always happens to me, or rather, something I think about. What if I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time? Like there's a mobster deal going down, you know, some bad guys doing stuff, and then I'm accidentally in the wrong place at the wrong time. And that's what happened to this gnome. So basically, I don't want to spoil anything for you, but this gnome fella comes up from underground, because that's where he lives, okay? So he's a fish out of water, and you know I love a fish out of water story, right? So basically this gnome, he's a witness to a crime, okay? But it goes deeper than the surface level of the crime. I'm talking corruption, you know, the police force is in on it. I don't want to spoil it for you, but this one cop, okay? So there's the lady cop and then this other cop. And the one cop is just, he's freewheeling, okay? I wouldn't call him a hippie. He's just young and inexperienced. But he's still a good detective. Sorry, not a cop, a detective. So basically, he's also there for this deal that doesn't go down. He gets bonked on the head. And this whole time, they're in a playground. I think it's New York City, but it might be a different city. I don't remember. He gets bonked on the head, okay? So he doesn't see what happens. But the gnome sees what happens because he just came up from underground. And he's a lovable gnome, okay? Again, I don't want to spoil anything, but basically, this detective has to get the gnome to, well, I guess he's not going to take him to a trial so much, but the gnome knows what happens. Gnorm, the gnome. And basically it's a friendship, you know, between the detective and the gnome, okay? I should mention too that this gnome is actually a puppet by the really talented Stan Winston fella. Okay, so this is a very believable puppet gnome, but I think sometimes it's not a puppet and it's like a person inside of a costume, sort of like how they do for Elf. Okay, and you know how much I love Elf. So, anyways, they're trying to get the gnome to with the detective to really have some evidence against this corrupt department lead in their police department. It's a whole thing. Hilarity ensues because, you know, it's fish out of water, gnome out of underground living situation. The one thing I will say is the gnome gets a makeover, right? Into the human clothes to blend in. He's got on a backwards hat. How funny is that? And he's over, oh no, it's Venice Beach. Excuse me, it's Los Angeles. That's right, Los Angeles. Anyways, oh, and there's people lifting weights, you know, at the Muscle Beach. And then the gnome's there. There's some good action. Sometimes the gnome does things that are, you know, a little cheeky. That's what I'd say, a little cheeky. But all in all, I'd say it was somewhat entertaining, and I enjoyed the puppetry of it. But it was silly. Silly is the word I would use, and I like a silly film. You know, nothing too serious. Just a little something silly. Now, also speaking of silly, I wanted to see something that was maybe more of a romantic comedy. Now, Gnorm the Gnome had some romantic comedy undertones. You know, the lady detective and the other detective. I didn't see any chemistry there. That's just me. You tell me and be the judge. Bruce, did you see that one? No. Okay, well, the other one I rented from the Blockbuster was Goddess of Love. Now, this film, Goddess of Love, I wanted to rent it because it had Vanna White in it. And I love her on Wheel of Fortune. So Vanna White, Wheel of Fortune. So I'm watching it, and all I could think is this supposed to be Mannequin? Because it's a lot like Mannequin, but not as good. And I love Mannequin. And you know how much I love Mannequin 2 on the Move. This was no Mannequin or Mannequin 2 on the Move. This was its own thing. But similarly, you've got Vanna White as the Goddess of Love, Aphrodite. Okay? Another fish out of water. Guess what happens? There's a curse, okay? From her, you know, mythical parents, right? She's got to find true love. What else is new? It's always about the true love. Same with Mannequin. I don't know how these stories keep coming up. Anyways, so she gets turned into a statue, okay? And then some bad guys steal the statue. Now, I don't know who they're going to sell it to unless they have a vast empire of, you know, art dealership, trade. And that's a challenging business. Not that I would know. Nancy. I'm sorry. But basically, the Aphrodite statue, Goddess of Love, gets turned into a real person when a fella puts his fiance's wedding ring on the statue. I don't know if he's practicing. I don't remember what the circumstances were, but he decides to put his fiance's wedding ring on the statue. And guess what? She comes to life because of the love in the ring. Now, I don't know how that would work. I don't think lightning struck at the same time, but there was like a storm lightning situation. And generally when that happens, statues come to life. We all know that. So, Aphrodite statue comes to life as Aphrodite in modern times. But you know what? That statue is actually Vanna White. So she's the Goddess of Love. And the fellow that put the ring on is now supposed to be her one true love, then that would take the curse off of her, and then she can go back to mythical goddess and God's lands. I'm not really sure what the plan was there. And then if it doesn't work out, I guess she's banished and, I don't know, is destroyed or something. It's bad news. Anyways, the fella that put the ring on, obviously he's already getting married because it's his fiance's ring. And they're set to be married in a couple of days. And the fella's friends are trying to take him out on a bachelor party. He's not feeling it. He likes his fiance a lot. So I think that's great. And his friends are really disrespectful to his choices to not have a bachelor party. He says, I don't want this. And then a fella, I don't remember the actor's name. The only person's name I remember is Vanna White. But anyways, he's got to figure out how to get this goddess of love, Vanna White, off his back, so that he can move forward with his marriage to his fiance. But I also didn't mention that he's a really good hairstylist. So that comes in a couple of times. And then he's got a really good hairstylist partner at his business. I forget the fella's name. Plays the piano. Anyways, I wouldn't call it a star-studded cast, but a lot of people looked familiar. So, you know, a number of things happen. We got the bad guys after the fella getting married because he has the statue, because the statue came to life and the bad guys need it back. I didn't really pay attention the whole time. I got a little distracted, but all in all, it ended up being an interesting film, and not necessarily one I'd recommend, but maybe one you rent if you just want something to put on in the background, or if Mannequin or Mannequin 2 on the Move are not available at the Blockbuster. This could be a backup if you're looking for one of those stories where a statue or something comes to life and it's romantic comedy-ish, whatever. Anyways, okay, so, gosh, if Barbara was here, she'd be yelling at me, wouldn't she? Too bad she's not, so I got to tell you all about those two VHS tapes. And, yeah, Bruce, did you see Goddess of Love? No. Did you see Mannequin? Mannequin 2 on the Move? Bruce, you gotta see those. Gotta see them. Okay. I gotta get to these clocks, though, because I'm running out of time. Now, we sprung forward for spring. Okay, now I don't have these clocks set right now just because I find the movement of the hands and dials a little distracting when displaying this beautiful piece. So if you like tennis, this is the clock for you. Or if it's tennis time, or if you own a pro shop, a tennis pro shop, this has to go in there. Or if you know someone that owns a tennis pro shop or kind of likes tennis. This has so much fun, whimsy, and cool appeal to it because we have a clock here with a tennis court, and then instead of, you know, Roman numerals, the classiest of all options for telling time, we have tennis balls marking each hour. So we've got noon, tennis, 1 o'clock, tennis, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, tennis, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, tennis balls. 12 tennis balls, but every hour is a tennis ball. So someone could say, what time is it? And you have this clock and you say, well, it's tennis time. Now, this is a quartz piece. I think all of these are quartz pieces today. And you know, quartz is a trusted name in timekeeping. So you'll know it's the right time once you set it. This is just going to be a trustworthy timepiece. Now, what we have here on this tennis clock, we've got a chrome look for the outer portion here, which kind of gives it a diner feel. But this is not a diner clock. No. And then you've got the tennis balls, which even have that sort of fabric tennis ball look to them. And then the scene back here of the courts. It's a lovely court. So this one's not going to be a clay court. Looks like standard tennis court material. And then you've got the net regulation height. Looks nice and taut, so you don't accidentally serve it, get a let. 2 more tries after that, but you know, nice and taut. And then up top here, right at the 12 o'clock marking, we've got a scoreboard. It reads, looks like it's a home and away or visitor. I don't know, it says N and S. But so far in the set, 6-4, 6-2. So that first player there, they are winning. Who knows what's going to happen in that third set? But it's exciting, and it's a lot of tennis fun in a timepiece. I could also see this being something that would be really fun to have in your office. Now, if you're, you know, either a stuffy or fun business person, either one, people are going to ask about what time it is, and you'll say it's tennis time. And they'll say, well, I thought it was actually time for us to go to such and such meeting, or, you know, the client's coming in, or we've got that lunch date. No, it's tennis time. So, again, the tennis balls, that's what really makes this. You could have just had a tennis court clock, but it would not have the same impact if it didn't have these tennis ball markings for the hours. Amazing. What a great timepiece. And then this one is easy to clean. You just take a damp cloth. That's going to go for all of these pieces today. Damp cloth, wipe it. Nothing harsh. No, you know, alcohol, things of that nature. But gosh, you know how much I like tennis. I've already made sure to save one of these for myself too. And will likely sell out because of this piece. But I'll show you what else we have too. Get ready for this. Folks, do you like Garfield? Of course you do. Everyone likes Garfield. If you say you don't, I don't know if we could be friends. I won't be mad, but I just what's there not to love about Garfield? He's a cat with attitude, some great one-liners, the sarcasm, the lasagna, the Mondays, all of it. It's just perfect. And so that's why you need a Garfield alarm clock. Now again, this one is Quartz Trusted Name and Timepieces. You've got this beautiful, sturdy but plastic Garfield cat with the beautiful signature orange, those cat markings, and he's holding the clock in his belly, okay? And in this clock, we've got kind of whimsical numbers. Now, I'm glad these are sort of a fun number font, because if they were Roman numerals, I say that doesn't make sense for Garfield, because Garfield's, you know, fun. It should be a little fun and funky. He's a party animal, but also likes to sleep. You have the glow-in-the-dark markings on the hour and the minute hand pieces here, okay? And that's so important because it's an alarm clock. So this is going to be by your bedside, okay? And you're going to look at it and feel inspired and maybe giggle a little bit because it's Garfield and he looks so funny here with this little smile and his little pink nose. But Garfield here will also tell you what time it is if it's a little bit dark in your bedroom or sleeping situation. Now, look at this. You see this tail? Can you guess what this fun tail does? Now, I don't have it set right now, but this tail is part of the mechanism for the alarm. So you put your battery in, you set the alarm, and he's going to tell you what time it is with some noise, with a buzzer noise, but also get this tail going. And isn't that a cat for you? Because cats love kind of whipping their tail around, getting it in your soup. So this makes sense as part of an alarm clock feature, especially for Garfield. Now, you would think a Garfield alarm clock would be all about the snooze, but this one will wake you up. This one will make sure that even if you hate Mondays, you're still going to be ready for work or school, whatever it may be. So fun, easy to set. There's indicators on the back here for alarm activated, alarm off, setting the time, and then you've got your tail features over here as well. So, gosh, it's already a must-have collection of cool clocks because you've got the coolest clock and cat there is, and that's Garfield. Okay, so Garfield, quartz, tennis. You gotta get a look at this. Okay, this is also a quartz timepiece, but it's probably the most modern and cool watch that we've ever had on the program before. And we haven't had too many watches. But check this out. I'm not going to put it on all the way right now. But look at that fun 90s color that this watch is adding upon my wrist. Look at that. Bruce, can I get you to zoom in here? Gosh, this is too cool. You've got really nice, cool primary colors. So we're looking at bright red, some yellow, the cobalt blue, a little bit of green, and then some white in there too. Now the face of the clock, it has a little ring of a metallic, sort of a red color around it, and then a metallic green. So you've got these fun colors. It's almost kind of like that Memphis style we've talked about before on the program, but not quite, not quite. And then we move over to the wristband. Look at this. Now this is a fabric wristband. So again, when it comes to that cleaning, you're going to want to just use a damp cloth. Look at the pattern on here. We've got navy and yellow checkers on the top and on the bottom. And then in here, zigzags. Look at that zigzag. So fun. So hip looking too because it's red, navy, green, and then there's little bits of little red. So it's a really nice fabric, really strong, reinforced wristband with the wristband adjustment holder. So this can fit almost any size. And then we've got a gold tone clasp here on the end. On the back side of it, reads right there, genuine leather. So you know you've got a quality, genuine leather wristband that's going to last and hold up for many wears. Again, easy to set here. We've got the time function. Now again, I took the battery out here, but we've got the time set function and then the numbers on the face of this one. They're easy to read. You've got 12, 3, 6, and 9, but they're kind of modern looking, sort of modern and fancy. And this makes it a little bit trickier. You kind of have to estimate because you're not getting those minute numbers in between. There are little notches, but you'll know basically what time it is, and you'll look very cool. So folks, we have the extremely cool and fun tennis clock. You're not going to see anything else like it except for on the Sleepy Keys Tingle Network. And then the coolest cat around, Garfield. But also he's an alarm clock that's going to wake you up. And then this really 90s cool design of a cool watch. So that's our collection here today. It's cool clocks on the Sleepy Keys Tingle Network. And it could be yours today if you call. Again, we're getting close to selling out of these. If you call soon, yours today for $79.99. Now, I was hoping to get to the phones, but Bruce is signaling that we're just about out of time. Sorry. Hope Barbara's not going to be mad at me. But cool clocks, Sleepy Keys Tingle Network. We hope to hear from you soon.